Hello and welcome to Friday's second edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where I'm going to be trying this Sudoku hunt, believe it or not, from the Pedaling Pianist, which we've had so many recommendations, actually, and requests to look at this. Apparently it's not that easy, and I know it's got at least 5 puzzles in the Sudoku hunt, because on Logic Masters Germany, one of the comments says I'm stuck on puzzle 5. So we're going to have a go at this, and as I say, it's been heavily fated. People like Marty Sears have written in and said that this is a treat. So I hope I've left myself enough time. I can hear Maverick in the background. It's a beautiful day here in Surrey, and it is now 4:09 p.m. So if this took me... it should be fine, providing it doesn't take hours and hours and hours for me to get this into video form for 8:30 this evening. We'll see how we go, and I'll read you the rules of this one in a moment or two. What else can I tell you? Well, the reason this is the second video today is because earlier on we released a crossword video in which I did battle with an old friend of mine, John Guyver, whose puzzle was in the Times today. Absolutely fantastic cryptic crossword, so I definitely commend that to you if you enjoy those sorts of things. And actually, I'll give a shout out too for yesterday's puzzle on the channel by Belamis, which loads and loads of you have been absolutely loving. Oh, my clock's slow. It's just chimed 4. Yeah, it's fabulous fog of war with sort of this regional constraint where you can't repeat a digit within a particular constraint. Fabulous stuff. Do check that out. And the only other thing I wanted to mention before we go on to birthdays is Blobz's Sudoku hunt over on Patreon. Here we go. Let's have a look at the current state of play. So this is the Sudoku hunt competition, where there's still 4 days to run. It closes on the 20th, and we were at 1935 solvers of any, the first intro puzzle, and we were at what's that? Arrow Mosaic, which is the final puzzle in order to enter the competition, 774. So let's refresh and see where we are. 882. 2000. We beat it. We're over 2,000. That is fantastic news. Really, really well done. Well done to the 2,000 of our patrons who've solved any of the puzzles. A massive congratulations to the 882 who have finished the whole thing. The prize will be the chance to make a Sudoku video, which appears on the channel in the coming couple of weeks. So if you might fancy that, you've still got plenty of time. Actually, 4 days is more than enough to get all the puzzles done, and good luck, and do have a go. Now, the only birthday I've got today is for Luna, which is what a beautiful name. Luna, you've turned 8 today, and I know this because your daddy wrote to us. And your daddy is rather well known in the world of Sudoku. It's none other than Dor Lear, the maths professor. And Luna, I hope you have an absolutely brilliant birthday today, with, of course, a large slice of heavily iced cake, hopefully chocolate cake. Many, many happy returns. And I'm delighted. Well, I presume that you are starting your Sudoku journey. Perhaps you've already been on it, but good luck with it. I know you must have extremely good genetics when it comes to solving. And that's all the news, I think. Oh, no, it's not. Blueprints. Yesterday evening at 10 p.m. We did a couple more hours on this game, Blueprints, it's a fantastic game. Where is it? Here it is. And we did enjoy it, and thank you for your company. We will return to it soon. I'll schedule another stream shortly, because we definitely don't think we've run out of material in this game. We keep getting a little bit further. But yeah, it's fantastic. If you haven't played it, do check it out. You will enjoy that. And I think that is all the news. With that said and done, let's start. Let's try and solve the kitty cat. This puzzle is called Same Difference by the Pedaling Pianist. Well, it's one same difference. So it's the first puzzle, and the rules are as follows. Normal 4x4 Sudoku rules apply, which means we've got to put the digits 1 to 4 once each in every row, column, and 2 by 2 box. An eye separates 2 consecutive digits. A nose points to a lower value. Right. It's very evocative, this, isn't it? So that digit is bigger than that one. And then there's a whole load of cat emojis. And then it says, every pair of adjacent digits on a yellow same difference line has the same difference. Right. So those 2 digits there have the same difference as those 2, which have the same difference as those 2, etc. Right, we'll think about that properly in a minute. But anyway, they are the rules. Do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. But now, I get to play. Let's get cracking. So what possible differences could we have? We couldn't have a difference of 3, could we? Because if we put 1, 4 here, then that would have to be another 1. The only way of getting to a 3 difference is with a 1 and a 4. Okay, and if you had, parity would go wrong if you had a difference of 2. Because if you had a difference of 2, then in order to preserve, so say this was 2 and this was 4, this would have to have the same parity again in order to preserve the difference, and then I'd have a repeat digit again. So I feel like the difference is 1, which means that everything on the line is consecutive. So it's like a whole sequence of white Kropki dots. Now, okay. I don't think I've got very many good ideas about this, but one thing I can say is I think that digit is extreme. What do I mean by extreme? I mean it must be a 1 or a 4. And the way I'm seeing that is that these 3 digits are a consecutive sequence. What I mean by that is, imagine this was a 1. It can't go 2, 1 again, can it? That won't work. Or if it goes 2, 3, it can't go back to 2. It's going to have to go continue upwards. So these are either made up of 1, 2, 3 or 2, 3, 4. So this is a 1 or a 4, and this is a 1 or a 4 by exactly the same logic in that column. So this is a 2, 3 pair. Dear. Hang on. What can we do with that? I suppose that's got to be lower than that one. If that's... Oh, I see. Those 2 are on the line and connected. Ah. Oh, but these 2 don't see each other, do they? So I was just thinking about if that was a 2, this will be a 3, but this one could be 1 or 3. So how do we do this then? This isn't a good start. If this is the easiest puzzle, I'm not quite seeing how it works. I'm feeling a bit dense, actually. Okay, it's going to be the same, isn't it, with this digit? Those 3 are going to be a consecutive sequence, so that's got to be extreme. That's got to be extreme. Those are 2s and 3s. And presumably, in some way or other, that's going to help me. He says, desperately trying to figure out why. Okay. This is appalling. I can't see what to do. If it went... Okay, let's... Oh, these are... they're consecutive as well. Right. That must be relevant, isn't it? So these have got to be consecutive. And they obviously can't be a 2-3 pair, can they? So this is either a 1-2 pair or a 3-4 pair. And that's interesting for the following reason. So if this was 4, this would be... It would have to be an ascending sequence. 4, it would have to go 1, 2, 3, because it couldn't go 3, 2, 1. Yeah, this digit can't be extreme, can it? Because it would be surrounded on both sides by the same digit. Let me just show you that. If that was 1 or 4, these two would be the same. So that must be 2 or 3. That must be 1 or 4. That must be 1 or 4. This must be 2 or 3 to be consecutive with this one. Oh, it's the nose going to do some duty here. Oh, this is really cool, actually, as a first puzzle. So this can't be extreme. And we get this pattern. Oh, that's so funny. Okay, so this is all then determined by the inequality sign, which now this must be 3. Ah, I can't type. So it goes 3, 2. Does this actually? I see it does unwind because this has to be consecutive again. And now that's got to be. Oh, good grief! Oh, we get. Yeah. That's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. Okay. Well, the climax to that was relatively swift, but that was not very easy. Oh, what do I do now? Do I click tick? Yes. German whisker. Oh, what, do I click on that or something? Okay, let's like that puzzle. German whisker. Oh, right. Okay. It's the same shape. That's ridiculous. Okay. German whisker. By the Pedaling Pianist. Number 2. Normal 4x4 Sudoku rules apply. An eye separates 2 different... What? An eye separates 2 different digits? Is that a joke? I was assuming those 2 digits would be different. That is the consequence of Sudoku. A nose points to the lower value. Adjacent digits on a green German whisper line have a difference of at least 2. Right. Okay, so this is going to be very strange German whispers rules. In the sense that whatever this is... Yeah, so in normal German whispers world, we think about 5, don't we? And the fact 5 can't go on the whisper, and then we sort of polarity shade it into lower and higher than 5. Well, here it feels like if you put a 1 on the line, the digit that would be next to the 1 would be a 3 or a 4. And if you put a 2 on the line, the digit that would be next to that would be 4. So 2 and 3 are monogamous, but they always have to go with things that the other side. You know, if you imagine a 1 and a 2, they're always going to be next to 3s and 4s, and vice versa. So I think what we do is we shade those cells some. Let's just make them blue for a moment. Then these are going to be the other polarity. Oh, and these are not consecutive this time. These are just a joke. It looks like a bit like an owl now for some. Oh, it's the beaky thing. Okay, so this is therefore orange. This is blue. This is blue just to compete. This is blue. This is orange. And this is orange. Right. So now we know from the inequality that this has got to be the 3 or the 4. Because we know that there's blue on one side and orange on the other. So oranges are always 3 and 4. Whoops. Blues are always 1 and 2. Yeah. Okay. And then we can use the fact that we just deduced that 3 was monogamous to look at this digit. If that was 3, both of those would have to be 1. It's the only digit that's 2 away. So that has to be 4. 4, 3, 3. 3 must always go next to 1. So the left-hand side of the grid gets filled. Oh, and okay, and we do the same here. It sort of reverses. That's really beautiful. So this square can't be a 2 because both of those would be a 4. So we go round that way. And the 2 must be next to 4. Now, that's so sick. That is gorgeous. Oh, and that's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. That is just lovely. Tabby Tally. Okay, that was... Okay, let's click on Tabby Tally. 125 people have done this one. Now, what do we have to do? Normal 4x4 Sudoku rules. Okay. An I separates two digits that sum to 5. A nose points to a lower value. And then there we get all the kitty emojis. A digit on a tabby. On a tabby counting line shows how many times that digit appears. On the tabby counting line. Okay. So this is like counting circles, but with a cat. So how many? Let's get cracking, obviously. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right. So, okay. I understand this one a little bit. So if we think about, if we put the digit 4 on the cat, it would have to appear 4 times. So that would consume 4 cells of cat. If we put 3 on the cat, it would have to appear 3 times. So you can see that what we're actually doing here, the maximum length of cat that would be possible with this counting rule would be to put 4, 3, 2 and 1 all on it, and they would consume 10 cells of cat. And this cat is 10 cells. So we do have to put 4, 3, 2 and 1 on it. And that means that there are 4s always on the cat. I mean, there's obviously a 4 in one of those and a 4 in one of these as well. So this digit can't be higher than 3, so that digit can't be higher than 2. And this was saying what? It was a summing to 5, so that is a 3 or a 4. Okay, there's 1 1 on the cat. And that is in that row. And that means I can use the inequality. I'm quite sure that is not how I'm meant to do this, but I'm going to do it. Because look, there's got to be a 1 in that row. It's on the cat. It's the only one, therefore, that's on the cat. So in this row, I can't put 1 on the cat. And I can't put it there on the inequality, so that's a 1. So that's a 1, that's a 4, that's a 4, that's a 4. That's a 4. These 2 digits add up to 5, and they don't use... So this is a 1. This has to be a 2-3 pair, because it can't be a 1-4 pair anymore, so that's a 1. So that's a 1. I must be able to do all the 1s. If I've got 3 1s, I can do all the 1s. Okay, so we're going to get 2 3s everywhere now. So I've got to put 2 2s and 3 3s on the line. Yeah, okay, this can't be a 2. If that was a 2, this would be a 2 by Sudoku. That would be 2 2s on the line, and one of those is a 2 on the line. That would be 3 2s on the line. So I get 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. One of these is a 3. So that's the 3 3s on the line. So that's got to be a 2. And I think that might be how to do tabby tally. Let's... yes. Kit 10. That was lovely. That was lovely. Oh, this is so good. This is so good. Okay, hang on. Let's look at it. It's another cat, of course. Kit 10. Is this a 10 line? Split the... Okay, let's just go through the rules at the start. Normal 4x4. And okay, these 2 sum to 5 again. A nose points to the lower value again. And then split the grey line into distinct segments, each of which sums to 10. So it is a 10 line. Now, let's get cracking then. So... Well, you can't make a 10 line from 3 cells in this puzzle. Well, you could actually, but not those 3. Because they all have to be different. 4, 3 and 2 only add up to 9. So this is at least going here. And if it's stopped there, let's just think about that for a second. Let's say that was a 10 line. These would all be different digits. Because those 3 are all different. Oh, am I wrong about that? I might be wrong about that, actually. I was just thinking 4 different digits add up to 10. Yeah, I'm wrong, aren't I? Or am I? No, actually, I don't know if I... No, I'm not wrong. No, these would... If that's... Okay, if that is right, because those 3 are different, and that must be the balance, these would all be different. So... Okay, so from the other side, we've got something similar going on. Those are at least the start of a 10 line that starts from this end. Oh, now I'm going to sneeze. No, no, no. I'm not. Mind over matter. Okay, we can't fit a 10 line there, because if that was 4 and 3, it wouldn't add up to 10. So right, so there are only two 10 segments on this line then. So purple and green have to be in here somewhere. So I suspect that's purple and that's green. Is it possible both of those are purple? Bobbins. That's really annoying. Yeah, okay, look. If that was 1, 2, 3, and that was 1, 2, and that was 1, that would be 10. But presumably that breaks this somehow. Oh, what was the rule on these? These have to add up to 5. So how would that work then? Is the question I'm trying to grapple with. Well, it doesn't work. Oh, actually, that's straightforward. Okay, now I can rule this out straightforwardly. Sorry. Right, this is impossible. Because those add up to 5. Yeah. So if these add up to 5, these add up to 5 as well, because there's a secret that applies in 4x4 Sudokus. There's a secret I share with only my very favourite people. If you're watching this still, you're definitely one of my favourite people. The secret is that a complete column of 1 to 4 Sudoku sums to 10, because it's the digits 1, 2, 3 and 4. So if they sum up to 5, those sum up to 5, and if that's a 1, which is the only way purple can extend here, what's that digit? 4. Where am I putting 4 in that box then? Nowhere. It won't go in. So, okay, so let's get rid of all the numbers. That cannot be purple, and obviously by symmetry, therefore, that cannot be green. So in fact, it is, okay, it is shared. That is the pattern of 10 lines that we're going for. So the minimum sum of that is 6. So the maximum sum of that is 4. Right. So these squares here are from 1, 2 and 3, and they definitely include 1. Those are from 1, 2 and 3, and they definitely include 1. Okay. Yeah, and 4 is going to be on a line somewhere in row 2. So one of these sections is going to be 4, 1, 2, adding up to 7. And that's going to have a 1, 2 beneath it. Right, hang on. So how do we do this then? Is this obvious? It probably is. Okay, this digit is this? Oh, I see. Okay, where's 4? Where's 4 in this box is a very sensible question. It's there, isn't it? Yeah, actually that's weird. That's going to do it. That's going to do the puzzle, I think. Just thinking about 4 in this box, I can't put it here because this can't be bigger than it. So 4 goes in the corner, 4 goes here, but now this is on an I, which adds up to 5. So that's a 1, that's a 1, that's a 1. And suddenly we're off to the races, aren't we? So this has to be 2, 3 because it can't be 1, 4. Where's 4 in this row? It's here. So now, because this is already, those 3 squares are adding up to at least 7. They can only add up to 7. Otherwise everything's going to be too large. And that's 3 in the corner again. Do we always get a 3 in the corner? That's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. Okay, so this is a 2, 3. That's going to have to be a 1 by maths. Yeah, and that's going to be a 3 to make the maths work. And there we go, we've done another one. Yeah, that's got to be right. Yes, it is. Took me a bit longer, but it's still correct. We're slowly going down in terms of solve counters. We're on one called Catalogue now. Catalogue. Normal 4x4 Sudoku rules apply. An I separates 2 consecutive values. That's not as good, is it, as adding up to 5. Nose points to the lower value, so similar rules. Split the turquoise line into distinct segments which each act as an index line. The digit in the nth cell of an index line indicates the position of the digit n on that line. Each index line must be valid regardless of which end is considered the first cell. What? Hang on, so let's just think this through. So imagine that's an index line. I understand index lines in the sense that the way they normally work is if, let's say this is the start of the line, and let's say that's a 3. Because that's the first cell on the line, it's indexing where you put the 1 on the line. So this would be saying put the 1 in the 3rd position. And then this would have to be a 2 indexing itself. So then you get to this position, which indexes where the 3 goes on the line because it's in the 3rd position. And it would be saying that the 3 on the line goes in the 1st position. So you get this sort of pairing off effect. But here it says, yeah, that's really weird. So actually, if this was the start of the line, that would work as a line, because that's indexing the 1, that's indexing the 2, and that's indexing the 3. So what if we switch it round? If it was like that? So if that's... I know that doesn't work from this end. So if that's the start of the line, then this is indexing the 3 into position 2. So it doesn't... Okay, all right, this is a very weird rule. Very weird. Let's get cracking on it. Wow. What on earth do you do here? I don't know. Okay, I know one secret, I think, about an index line, and that is that an index line always contains the digits up to its length. So the longest index line you could have in this puzzle is a length 4 index line, which would have to contain the digits 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then the next segment of line would sort of reset. So I think there's going to be a lot of 1s on this cat. Possibly all the 1s. Can we get... No, actually that's not necessarily true. You could imagine that was a 4 length, and that was a 4 length. then you could have a 2 length at the other end. And then you'd only have to have 3 ones on. Okay, so the cat contains at least 3 ones, probably 4 ones, but at least 3. The cat contains a 4 length line, because in that row there's a 4 on the cat. And as I said before, an index line must contain digits up to and including its length. So if you put a 4 on the line, you're saying that there is a 4th position along that line. So, what was the I rule in this one? 2 consecutive digits. I don't really even know how to start this, to be honest. I don't know how to think about it. And it's got this reversing property for the index lines. So we're saying that if we put 4 on an index line, if you put 4 at the start of an index line, well, it's either a 4 at the start or a 4 at the end, but we have to look at it from both perspectives because the line has to work both ways round. So if we do put a 4, so like imagine that was a 4. That's saying that the line would be that it would take those squares, and that if this was the start of the line, that would have to put a 1 here, and these would be a 2, 3 and index each other. What was the I rule? That would be a 3. So that would be a 2. So that would be a 1. That's quite interesting. You can really propagate this. Okay, that would be a 4. That would be a 3. That would be a 4. Sorry, I'm just trying to think about this a little bit more deeply and try and understand what's going on. This would be a 3, 1, 3, 2, 4. But I don't, that's the other thing. This inequality is very smelly, isn't it? Because we don't want to really use that. Because what I'm thinking there is, looking at this end of the line, it's completely, the shape in the grid is totally symmetrical, in the sense that if this was the 4, everything I've done logically would be the same. So if that's a 4, that's a 1. But it breaks down if I start using this inequality, because obviously this is a one-way thing. It's saying this digit is bigger than this digit. So in fact, if that's a 4, because that's a 1 and this is a 3, that's a 4 and that's a 2. And that might have different ramifications to this being a 4. So I'd rather not use the inequality unless I have to. Two, 1, 4, 3. Oh, it gets so complicated. If that goes back to being a 2 again, I don't know. If that's a oh, hang on, that's not very good. That doesn't. Oh. I don't know. I don't think that does work, actually. But I'm not certain. And I view it as bifurcation if I can't envisage what's going on in my brain. So, come on, brain. Think harder. If that is 4, 4 goes in the corner, 2, 3 up there, 2, 1, 3 in the corner, 3 in the spotlight, but I don't sing about it because it's only in my head. 1, 3, that's 2, 4. I don't think that can be 4, that's true, so that would be 2. The inequality would be the wrong way round in this version. I would have a 3 there. Do I care about that? So I would have 2 there, resetting the count. So I'd go 2, 1, 4, 3. I can almost envisage the whole grid filling in. It's a very odd puzzle, actually. Oh, that doesn't work. Ah, I have reached a contradiction. No, I haven't. No. Oh. Actually, I'm not sure now. I'm not sure. 2, 1. I think I get 4 up there, but then... these lines are weird, because you've got to evaluate them from both ways round. This is really complicated. Sorry, I realise I'm not making much sense here. What I'm trying to do is to force my brain to understand how these lines work, and I'm doing the most abysmal job of it. I'm almost wondering if this is correct, though, because what I can envisage is if this is 4 and this is 1, I put 4 down here, obviously. But this is a consecutive pair, so that's 3 and that's 2, and that 2 is the start of a new sequence along this line. We don't know how long it is yet, but it is the start of a new sequence. So if I view the 2 as the start of the line, which I'm allowed to do because I've got to view it both ways round, this would be a 1. So now I've got a 1-3 pair here and a 2-4 pair here. Let's ignore the inequality because I don't want to lose the generality of this principle. Now, I've got a 2 here and a 1 here. And I've also got a 1 here, actually. But now, this square here is 2 or 4. And 2 is lovely with the 1 here. That works beautifully. 4 doesn't work here. So the 4 would go here. This would be 2. So we get a 2-1 there and another 2-1 here. And now the only way this could work, because we can't restart a sequence here because we've already got 1 in this box. So the only way this can work is if that can be a 4-cell sequence as well. And that would put 4 here and 3 here. And the 3 from this side would index the 1, and the 4 would index the 2. This almost seems like it must work, doesn't it? So this is 1, 4, 3, 2. 2, 3. I mean, the inequality is the wrong way round. So that would suggest, okay, let's think about it differently then. If I can't disprove that from this, well, I think that suggests this is a 4 in the correct solution in order to correct the inequality. But the other option would be for the 4, which we know exists in this row, to be in one of these two positions. Now, what does that do to the world? I don't know. So if that's 4, then, okay, that's clearly in the same segment, because even if the segment started here, 1, 2, 3, 4, so they're in the same segment. But this 4 that I'm envisaging here, then it's all going to depend on where that segment starts. Because that segment could start here. Can you have a 1-cell segment? Split the turquoise line into distinct segments which each act as an index line. The digit in the nth cell of an index line indicates the position of the digit n on the line. I don't think that does preclude a one cell segment, which might be a problem. Or is it going to be something more generic, like can that be a 1? If that's a 1, that's a 2 by consecutive rules, and so those two would both be 1s, and then I could only have 3 segments on the line. That would be on the line. No, hang on. That can't be a... Oh, maybe it's something like that. If that's a 1, it doesn't work. Because I must have 3 1s on this line, because even if each segment was as long as it could be with 4 cell segments, I can't completely fill this line with 2 4 cell segments. So there's at least 3 1s on the line. But if this is a 1, that's a 1, and by Sudoku that's a 1. So that's definitely not a 1. Does that matter? So that's 2, 3, or 4. And that from this, so that means there is a 1 in one of those 3, which means that isn't a 1. Because this 2, if we view this as the start of the line, it must be putting a 1 into one of those positions. So that digit is 2, 3, or 4. I'm sure this, again, I'm absolutely sure this is not how you're meant to do this, but needs must. Now, this digit can't be a 1 either, because it's on the inequality. So now the odd digit on this I is a 3, because this contains a consecutive pair. But, I mean, I'd love this to be the 3, because then this would be a 1. Three, 1, but still wouldn't know. I mean, that could be a 4 indexing. Oh no, that would work. That's weird. Okay, so that works as well. That could be 3, 4, 3, 4, 1, 2, and that'd be a 4 cell segment. This is 1, 2, or 3, isn't it? Because it's got to be the lower end. I'm not sure. This is tricky. This is a step up in difficulty, this puzzle. So if that was a 2, that would be a 1. But that wouldn't necessarily be defining the length of the line. That would be a 3. So, oh, hang on, 2. So this would be a 3. 2, 3. I'd have to put 3 in this column. So it would go 2, 1, 3, 4. 2, 1, 3, 4. And this 3, 2, 1. Oh, it could be indexing itself. But no, that wouldn't work if this was the start of the line. So the line would have to continue. So it would have to go 2, 1, 3, 4. 3, 4. This would be a 3, 3, 4 pair. 2, 1. And that would be a would that be the start of a new segment? Let me just think about that. I'm sorry about this. I just want to consider, because this is the pattern I'm looking at. I just want to check this line works from both directions. So if this is the start of it, no, it doesn't, does it? The 4 and the 2 don't work. Ah, there's something then. Yes. Okay, so let me explain that. It's not easy to see this, so forgive me. But if this is a 2, what we're saying is that viewing this as the start of the line, it's plonking a 1 here. But the odd digit on this pair has to be 3, which plonks 3 here. Now, if this line... Ah, no, but that could be the start of a new segment. I'm wondering if that could be a 2-1 segment. And then this is the start of a new segment, which would put a 1 here. Is that possible? Well, hang on. No. Be careful, Simon. I don't know now. I'm now confused again. Oh, this is horrible. This is really difficult. Because what I've noticed now is if we were in this... What doesn't work, I think, is to make this a 4 and say this is all the segment. Because that 4 from this side is indexing a 1 into this position, which would be wrong. So if it is like this, it can't be... Can it be a 3-cell segment? No, because the 3 would index a 1 into here. So the only way this works, and you can put a 2 here, is if that is its own segment. This is a new segment, which is going to put a 1 here. This becomes a 4. Now... the problem is that could be a 2 indexing itself in either direction. Could it be a 4 even? And then that could be a 2, could it? I mean, I don't know if that works, but I think it does. I think it does. I don't believe it. And that is why I fail. Golly gosh, okay. Okay, this is a nightmare. This is really hard. Right, okay, so what am I missing here? I'm not sure. What do we actually know about anything? We know the line definitely contains at least 1 4. And let's go back to thinking about that. So if that's a 4, we knew that was a 3, didn't we? And we knew that was a 1. All of that I am very comfortable with. So that's 1 and that's 2. This is the thing I was trying to envisage in my head. But I think unfortunately, this is going to work. Well, it's not going to work. Oh, hang on. What's going on now? Oh, hang on. Hang on a minute. This is a 2 3. This is a 2. This is a 1 in this work. Yeah, this is what I envisaged before. But I didn't. The other time I thought this didn't work because I was going to have to put. Have I used the inequality? Yeah, I've used inequality. That's the numpty. That's the numpty move that you made there, Simon. Yeah, because I was thinking, I could see a way this didn't, that wouldn't work, what I just did, but I used the inequality, so it wasn't logical, in the sense that what I want to find is symmetrical logic that works either way round, and then the inequality will tidy up the ambiguity at the end. But the point is that if we don't use the inequality, this can absolutely be 4, and that's absolutely possible, because what we're going to get there is a 1 here, and now we can't make this 4 because this will be 1 on this stretch. And I think that's true, because we get the 3 in the corner here. So what we can't have is that this is a segment, because then the 4 here is going to index a 3 into this position. So you'd have to be this way round. And now I've got a 2, 1 and another 2. So this would have to be the start of a new segment. That's going to put a 1 here. This is now 4. So this new segment has to be of length 4, and we end up there. Now what's wrong with that is a very interesting question. Obviously what's wrong with it is this, but I can reverse this, if I just mirror the grid. That would probably be the solution. So starting from here, we got 3, 4, 1. The 4 would index the 2, that's correct. The 1 and the 2 are a segment. And that's a sort of 1, 2. Yeah, I mean... So I think this is correct. But I could almost envisage that before. And that's, so the correct solution is going to have a 4 here, is what I'm claiming. Now, but how do you logically do that without doing what I did before, which is to basically just envisage the solution? That is not how we are meant to do this, I'm quite sure. It's hard to know, isn't it? It really is hard to know. Unless... I'm sorry. I mean, the only thing I'm thinking about here, and it's so poor, I cannot tell you what I want to get rid of that. I don't like that pencil mark. Is there some reason the 4 can't go into those particular positions of row 2, which is the only place where we know there must be a 4 on the line? But this is what we tried to do before. If that's a 4, why is there a problem? And if I could figure that out, I would be happy. Let me just think this through. Is there something obvious about this? Certainly that can't be a 3 in this variation, can it? Because from this perspective, so the line would have to begin 2, 1, 4, 3. It would have to do that. And that works. That is a legitimate line. That would put 2 in the corner down here. This becomes a 4. This becomes a 1 and this becomes a 3. So maybe I can... Oh, are these meant to be... Hang on, they're meant to be consecutive. Right. So there is a point. I just hadn't understood it. Right. I just need to think about this. Sorry. I fully appreciate that I'm being dense. I do not mean to be. So we have to go 4, 2, 1. Yeah, actually it's not difficult. It's not difficult. Right, the point is, although, did I... To do this without loss of generality, do I have to be careful here? I worked out this couldn't be a 1, didn't I? Because it would put a 1 there. But I'm now worried if I put the 4 the other side, I haven't got the same restrictions into these two positions. Okay, but let me explain. This can't be 4. Because if this is 4, we have to think about what this digit is. And this digit definitely now can't be 3, because starting the line from this position, that's the 3rd position. It should be a 1, and it's a 4. So the only thing that would work here is a 2. Yeah, but the point is that from this, if we were to put the 4 here instead, that we're going to have to investigate that, because this logic isn't, I haven't closed the loop. So this would have to be 2. And this is obviously now a 1. Now, what's the issue with this? Well, let's think this through. Because now this has to be 3. This is a length 4 segment. So the 1 needs to be indexed from this position. So this becomes like this. And now this digit is unfillable, because it would need to be a 1, and yet it needs to be greater than this digit. So that's clearly not correct. Now, if the 4 was here on the other hand, how much more complicated does that become? Because now this digit is 1, 2, or 3. And it's clearly, again, it's not 3, is it? So, if the line started here, that should be a 2. Yeah, it's a more complicated beastie from this perspective. That would... Oh! Well, by Sudoku, because of the inequality, this would be a 4. So that's the first segment, because the 4s can't be on the same index line. And then there's a second segment there. And that's going to force this position. And now that would have to be a 1, and that would have to be a 3. And is this broken? And if so, why? Obviously this is a 1 now, this is a 2, this is a 3, this is a 3, this is a 1, 3, 1. These have to be 2 and 4 in some order. This would be a 3. Sorry, I'm just trying to work out why it's broken, or even indeed if it's broken this way round. The 1 here forces... Careful. You don't know how long this segment is, Simon. Oh, yeah, that's got to be 2 and 3 on this segment. Yeah, and you can't put 1 in this box. That's the... Right, okay, that's doable. So yeah, the problem here with this being 4 is that that is a segment, so it must contain all different digits. And that has to be 2 and 3, and there's nowhere to put 1 in this box. I mean, that's incredibly complicated. I do not deny it for a moment, but I'm trying to close the logical loop. So what I think I have now done is I've ruled 4 out from here and ruled 4 out from here. Inelegantly, I admit, but I have done it. And now I think we're in a position where where one of these was the 4, but we knew if we filled this with the 4, the inequality goes wrong. So I think this is a 4, this is a 1, this is a 2, 3 pair, this is a 1. I'm going to... Well, that's a 1 now, because this segment must come from this square. That's now got to be a 3, because we can't put 2 1s in this box. Now, that's 3 in the corner, 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. I really hope I haven't made a ricket here. That's not now 2, that's now 4 of all things. So 1, 2, 4 in the corner. Yeah, and that's now going to be a 2, isn't it? That's going to be another 3 in the corner. And we end up here. Now, is this right? The inequalities, or sorry, the thingies work. 4, 3, 2, 1. That's fine from either direction. That does work from either direction. 2, 1 here, that works. And then 2, 1 there, and 4, 3. And the other way round, 3, 3. I think this works. I think that's monstrous. That's taken me half an hour. That is, I mean, I've obviously missed something there. There must be something a little bit better than I managed to find, and I apologise for that. But that was quite difficult. I think that was the one on Logic Master, so someone was stuck on. I totally understand. Oh, look at the self counter for this one's dropped off a cliff. A Tale of Two Kitties. Let's see. There's another. Is a pink kitty? Is it a Renban kitty or something? Normal 4x4 Sudoku rules apply. An eye separates 2 consecutive digits. A nose points to the lower value. So we've got consecutiveness again. Split the pink line into 3 distinct segments, each of which acts as a double arrow. Digits at either end of a double arrow have the same sum as the digits between them. Good grief. So this is this rule. Let me try and draw an example. So if you had that situation, those 2 cells, you add them up and you get the sum of the digits between them along the line. So that's the principle that we're going to have to use here. Let's get cracking with this one. So, okay, so each double arrow is at least 3 cells because it's got to have 2 circles and a digit between them at least. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's quite interesting, isn't it? So how far apart could they be then? It feels like... Could you have them miles apart is what I'm wondering. Oh no, it's 3... No, oh, hang on. It's 3 distinct segments. Right, I was busy going off thinking, could they be circles, adding up the sum of those? But it's not. It's 3 segments. So, yeah, so it's got to be 2 3-cell segments. It's got to be 2 3-cell double arrows and a 4-cell double arrow. Because look, if that's the shortest double arrow we make there, and we make another tiny double arrow, so these are the 2 circles and they're adding up to this digit effectively, then here we can't make another 3-cell segment because that would just be 1 cell, which is meaningless. So that would have to be its own double arrow, if you see what I mean. So it's split up into 2 3-cell segments and a 4-cell segment. Now the question's going to be, but which way round does it go? Okay, the 2 3-cell segments are not at the top. We can't do that and have this as the 4-cell segment. And the reason for that is that the circles, if you like, those 2 are adding up to this one. Those 2 are adding up to this one. And one of these is a 4. So whichever one, let's say there was a 4 there. Now this has to be bigger than 4 because we're adding 4 to at least 1. So this is meant to be 5 at least, which is clearly nonsensical in this puzzle. So actually, we can now say that the 4-cell segment is either here, and we're in this world, or the 4-cell segment flips round and it's on that side. One of those things is true. So let's have a stare at this and see if we can see anything. So, okay, without loss of generality, because obviously we don't know whether the 4 cell is here or here, this square is quite large, because these 2 digits are adding up to this cell. So that is at least a 3 or a 4. Thing is with this one, this is a horrible one because these 2 digits don't see each other, so that could be as low as a 2. If they were both 1, that could be a 2. What is this? Is this consecutive? Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm feeling very, very daft here. If that's a... So whatever, okay, so there's definitely a 1 in one of those, isn't there, in this world? It's either 1, 2 or 1, 3. But hang on. Hang on. There's a parity issue here, I think. Now that might be nonsense, so forgive me if it's nonsense. I don't mean to talk nonsense. Yeah, this doesn't work. Right, this is not 4. That's actually very cute. And I think it survives even if I reverse this and put this one over here. If this is 4, this is 1, 3, isn't it? In order to add up to our 4. But by parity now, can you see the problem in this column? The problem is that, and ignore the inequality, we don't need the inequality to show that this is broken. The problem is that this is 2 by Sudoku, but this is a consecutive pair which must contain an even digit, which is not 2 now. So that's got to be 4, that's got to be 3. Ignore the inequality. The point here is that this square, which is the sum of these 2 digits, is a 1, and that cannot be true. So actually, we can say this is 3. And this, oh, that's 3 in the corner, that's 3 in the spotlight, losing its 3. No, I don't deserve that. Because it's true it's a 3, but it might be here. We have to bear that in mind. We don't know where it is yet. We don't know where it is. But, okay, but this is still going to be very, I think this is going to be very important. Because we're in much better shape now. He says, please be in better shape. I mean, I guess it's true to say, isn't it, that because this digit is the sum of those 2, if this was a 4, we would be broken, because we're adding at least 4 to 1, which would make this 5, which is impossible. So we're going to go 4 here with a 1, 2 here. And that's, again, I'm trying to do this independent of the inequality. There must be an even digit on this inequality. On the consecutive nature of this 2. And that is a 2 now, which means this is odd and it can't be 1, because it is the sum of those digits. So that is a 3. This is a 1, 2 pair adding up to 3. These 2 digits are different. This is now 1 or a 2. So this is a 1 or a 2. This is a 3 or a 4. And now, again, without recourse to the inequality, we can now see the green double arrow is made up of those 2 digits summing to these 2. Well, the minimum sum that they can be is 6. And the maximum sum they can be is 6 if these are 4 and 2. So that's where we are. So it fills in like this. This looks like it's the right way round, doesn't it? Oh, look, lovely. Look, this here has to be different from that. So we get that pattern. Yeah, and if we'd gone the other way, just to make sure everyone's clear, if I'd instead put this 4-cell sequence here, everything would just mirror, and the 2 would be on the left side of this inequality. It would have gone 2, 4, and that's why this inequality is necessary. That's sick. That's sick. Okay, really clever. Meowdularity or something. Okay, we're on puzzle 7 now. Normal 4x4 Sudoku rules. An eye separates two different values, and those points to a lower value. Place 1 square cell into each row, column and box. Every digit appears in exactly 1 square cell. The value of a square cell is the digit it contains squared. Every sequence of 3 adjacent values on a teal modular line must have a different remainder when divided by 3. Oh, goodness me. But we've got squaring digits. So a different remainder. So the normal digits you've got here are 147 would be, they all have a 1 remainder, 258 have a 2 remainder, and 369 have a 0 remainder. But here we could have 4 squared, which is 16, which has a 1 remainder. Actually, that's the only abnormal digit. So sorry, I'm looking down at my number pad on my keypad because it's the vertical stripes. So how do we do this then? So what happens to the squaring values? So if we square a 1, we get a 1, so that doesn't change modularity. If we square a 2, we get a 4, which does change modularity. If we square 3, we get 9, which doesn't change modularity. And if we square 4, we get 1, a remainder of 1, which doesn't change modularity. So the only way of changing modularity by squaring is to square a 2, and that would become a remainder 1. It would join the remainder 1 modularity set. I'm trying to think if that means something. I haven't got a clue. So okay, so shall we shade the line then? So the reason we shade modularity lines is obviously every 3 digits we have to have 1 of each modularity. So whatever modularity that is, we'll repeat here. Now obviously this is more complicated because we're going to have to consider the fact that there could be squaring digits in here. So whatever the modularity of that one is, we'll repeat here and here. And whatever the modularity of this one is, we'll repeat in those cells. Make those blues. We've got a very pretty pattern. And we've got the same modularity in this row. Right. Okay, so in this row I can see something that's interesting. In this row, all 3 modularities are present. But we know that the only way of presenting, the only way that you can do a digit with a remainder of 2 is for the 2 to be undoubled. So I am going to claim that either purple or blue is an undoubled 2 in row 2, in order that there are 3 different modularities present. Now that's interesting. Yeah, I mean these 2 digits then, they are the digits 1 and 4. It's the only, because 3, if we doubled it, just becomes a 9, which is in its same modularity group. So the only way we can have 2 digits of the same modularity is to have 1 and 4 here. Now what we don't know, of course, is whether these are doubled, because if they're squared, sorry. If they're squared, they retain their modular property. But we do know that they are 1, 4. We know these are 2, 3. So now we know. Okay, so now we know that those are 2s and 3s. And we know these are 1s and 4. In terms of modularity... no, I've got to be careful. Actually, I'm not sure about that. Because I've just realised that these modularities here, which are the yellow modularity, the 1, 4... Oh no, it's still... No, they could be double 2. They could be double 2. Not double, squared 2. Squared 2 becomes 4, which is the yellow modularity. Oh no. Okay. Okay. But on this line, there are 3 blues and there are 3 purples. Now, whichever colour of blue or purple is the remainder 2 modularity, they must be 3 plain vanilla 2s in those cells, because they can't be doubled. If we double a 2 on the line, we can't present the 2 remainder digit at all. So either blues are 2s, unsquared, sorry, or purples are 2s, unsquared. Which means... it means neither of those can be a 2, because there's either blues are 2s or purples are 2s. So these are not 2s. So the only way to create yellow modularity is with a 1-4 pair. And this is a 2-3 pair now. Oh, this is sick. This is sick. Right. But the 2 here, all these 2s on the line are natural unsquared 2s. There must be a squared 2 in this puzzle, because every digit is squared in 1 square. So the 2 in this row is the only possible 2 square digit. And that's going to change the way the inequality works compared to if these were natural digits. Because the 2 squared is bigger than the 3. So the 2 squared has to be here. This is a 2. It's squared. We better have a colour for squaring. Oh, I don't like red. I'm going to go green. No, I don't like that. I'll go black. Okay, so that is a squared digit. Bigger than this digit. And now 3... well, 2 sees purple. So purple is the 3 modularity digit. And blue is the 2 modularity digit. So those are all 2s. That must be 3. We don't know whether it's doubled or not. Or squared, sorry. We do know this isn't squared. I do know that isn't squared. So the only way of creating a 3 or a 0 remainder is with a natural 3. I know that isn't squared. That's 1 or 4. This is 1 or 4. This is 1 or 4. This is 1 or 4. So I don't understand this. How is this going to resolve? How am I going to work out where all the squares are? This is really strange. That's a 3 in the corner by Sudoku. 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. I think everything I've done is logical, but I don't understand how I know. I know that the squares... so the squared 3 is here or here and won't change its modularity because it will turn into a 9. Oh, what's the I rule? Different value. Different values. Oh, I see. Yeah, that's amazing. Right. So the value of this squared 2 is 4. That's got to be different from this digit. which is an unsquared digit, because we've already had the square in this column. So that has to be not an actual 4. That's a 1, 4, 4, 1. Okay. Now, so this has the value of, we don't know, because we don't know whether that's squared or not. Actually, hang on, have I gone crazy? What am I doing now? I don't know. Yeah, okay, yeah, I think I do see it actually. The squared digit in this box can't be the 2, because the 2 needs to retain its modularity, and we've already had a squared 2. So the squared digit by Sudoku is the 3. Now, the squared digit in here must be the 4, because it can't be the 3 again. And now we need a squared 1 somewhere, and that's going to have to be here. And that's going to do the final disambiguation. That is a sick puzzle as well. Good grief. Good grief. These are not easy. These are getting harder. Well, no, that number 5 was monstrous, but this one... Okay, what have we got now? Positive and negato. Oh, is it region sum, is it? Oh, it is region sum. Okay. We have got normal 4x4, Sudoku. The product of all 4 values in cells that touch an eye is positive. The product of all 4 values in cells that touch an eye is positive. I wouldn't have thought anything else. A nose points to a lower value. Place 1 negator cell into each row, column and box. Every digit appears in exactly 1 negator cell. The value of a negator cell is the digit it contains multiplied by -1. Of course it is. Of course it is. Why would I ever have thought anything different? And box borders split the blue region sums line into segments, the values on which sum to the same number. Oh my goodness me. Oh my goodness me. Right. That is not a negative number. Because there's only 1 in every row. So if that was negative, it would be smaller than this digit, which would be positive. So that is not a negative. Now, okay, so that is not a negative. If this was a negative, what colour? Let's have purple for negative. If that was a negative, neither of those is negative, and those 4 digits would multiply to a negative number, which they're not allowed to do. So that is also positive. And either those are 2 negatives to make a positive, or they're 2 positives. If they're 2 positives, oh, goodness knows what goodness only knows what goes on. Wow. Wow. I mean, this is brutal, isn't it? So, sorry, I need to think about this. So there's I'm confusing in my mind between the product rule which is applying in the 2 by 2 in the middle, and the region sum, which is just summing the digits, with one cell being negative, potentially on the line segment. So if you had a massive negative number like -4, it wouldn't surprise me if all of these segments add to 0. Now, if those two are both positive, right, that's not right. That's not right, but it's not easy to see why not. If we're in this world, it doesn't matter. Well, you can see in this row we need to put a -1. Let's put it there. It doesn't matter. You'll see why. In this row we need to put a -1. We can't duplicate it, so we've got to put it there. And obviously these could be the other way around, but the point is going to hold. Now, the crucial thing to see now is, where is the negative cell in this box? And the answer is there, by sort of Sudoku on whatever they're called, negators. And that's impossible, because these 3 digits now are all positive digits, which are adding to at least... Oh, am I wrong? No, I am right. I am right. They're adding to at least 6, aren't they? So 6 positive needs to be achievable on all region sums. And it's definitely not possible there, because we've got a -1, say, and a +4 would be the best. That's 3. So that cannot be true. So I think both of those are negative. Now, what that means... Oh, well, that's going to be good. Okay, so we can just do the same exercise. The corners are now... Okay, one corner is negative on the line, and this corner is negative off its region sum line. Right, so the region sum is at least 3 now, because there's no negative ones in this sort of bottom arc of the cat. So we're at least looking at 1, 2 pairs. So it's at least 3. Okay, so we have to make these 2 digits minus that add up to at least 3. Which feels like it might matter. What's the way to think about this then? The other thought we could do, you know, I bet you can basically do Sudoku now. And the reason I say that is that digit there has to go there, doesn't it, in this box, because the negators are all different digits. Let's just think about that for a sec. Yeah, that's quite interesting. Yeah, that is quite interesting. Ooh, this might be the... Actually, maybe I should have done this a long time ago. Yeah, let's make that C, because that's C by Sudoku. We'll make that D, which is the last digit, which is going to be that negator. So that's A, that's C, that's... Whoopsie, careful, Simon. So we definitely get... that pattern is how the digits all dispose themselves. Now, what rules have we got applying to this? We don't have anything across the eyes because we've done the product rule there. B has got to be greater than C. Place one negator cell. I probably shouldn't have done this, should I? Or I should have done it with... Maybe I should have done it with colours. Yeah, that's what I should have done. I should have done it with colours. So let's give these new colours. A. Let's go to A. And we'll give this its own colour. We'll make it red. And then we'll go to C. And we'll make C dark green. And B we'll make, should we make it black? But that one was the purple, which is the negator. And then, okay, and now we can get rid of all of the letters like that. Okay, so this is the disposition of the digits. And now all we've got to do is work out, I don't know if this has taken things forward at all, actually. Maybe it hasn't. Maybe it hasn't. I'm not sure. Hang on. Can I not now say, this might be wrong, but it quite appeals to me as an idea. I've got the 4 different colours on the arc there for the digits. And none of these are negated. So they add up to 10. And there are 2 segments there. So the segment total we're aiming for is 5, I'm going to allege. Which is probably interesting. Okay, so how do we get to 5? How do we get to 5 up here, where we have got negators on the pitch, haven't we? So these 2 minus that have to equal 5. So that they definitely include 4. There must be 4 in here. Otherwise this is 3, 2 minus a number. So it's either 4, 2 or 4, 3. And this is 1 or 2. So the black digit, wherever it occurs, is 1 or 2. Oh, that's it. We've done it. Oh, have we? No, we haven't done. Oh, careful, because that's always negated. So I was about to say this has to be 2, but it doesn't, because that's a negator. Nasty. Oh, hang on. Hang on, though. This is the negator in this sum. Ah. Yeah, that's it. Right, this is the crucial one. Because how on earth, given this is such a low number and is part of the positive on this line segment, how do we make this equal 5? There's only one way. 2, 4, 1. And now 1 has been negated. So it can't be negated again. So that's 2. And this is a 3, 4 pair. And that does add up to 5. 3 plus 4 minus 2 is correct. This is 3. And 3 is that digit. 4 is that digit. That's 3 in the corner. 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. I hope that's not wrong. But that, I think, is how to solve that puzzle. Boom. That was great. I love that. Quadruped, number 9. Quadruped. Normal 4x4 Sudoku rules apply. An I separates 2 different values. Different values again. A nose points to a lower value. Place 1 quadruple cell into each row, column and box. Every digit appears in exactly 1 quadruple cell. The value of a quadruple cell is the digit it contains multiplied by 4. I would have guessed that. No 2 adjacent values on a different difference line may have the same difference. No 2 adjacent values may have the same difference. Right, okay, let's get cracking with this one then. So we had a same difference line, didn't we, at number 1. This is a different difference line. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we've got to have 9 different differences, which is very, very many, given we've only got the digits 1 to 4 plus some quadruplers to play with. So, how do we do that? Now, Marty Sears would automatically, on a different differences line, use a 0 difference. Now, in this puzzle, I think we can dispense with that. Can you have oh no. If you had a quadrupled 1 next to a 4, oh, bobbins, that would be a difference of 0. Okay. So you can do that. You can have, without quadrupling, you could have a difference of 1, 1 and 2, for example, a difference of 2, 2 and 4, a difference of 3, 1 and 4. And then with quadruplers, a 2 quadrupled is worth 8. Yeah, so the differences with an 8 could be 4, 5, 6, 7, I suppose. And then a 3 quadrupler would have a value of 12. Yeah, and it would have 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, and the 4 quadrupler has a value of 16, which is going to have 12, 13, 14, 15. Right, so there are no overlapping differences. So it's not like you could have, you know, the quadrupled 2 with a 4 having the same difference as the quadrupled, I don't know, anything else. It would just, there is no overlap. We are in different parts of the Venn diagram. So how do we do this then? So we can have, without using quadruplers, we can only have 3 differences, 1, 2 and 3. So these quadruplers are going to have to do some work. The 1 quadrupler can create 1 extra difference, which is a difference of 0. Otherwise, it's just going to mimic the differences that you can have anyway, because it's going to have the value of 4, and 4 exists in the puzzle. Right. Okay. So what does that mean? If you put a quadruple 2 in the middle of the line, you'd create 2 weird differences, and the same would be true for 3 or 4. So the quadruples can generate the quadruples that aren't 1 can generate 2 each, so that's 6, plus the 3 originals is 9. But this is complicated because the quadrupled 1, I don't know. I'm not sure. If you had a quadrupled 1 as well, that's, oh, okay. Oh, I see. That's horrible. Oh no, I've got a horrible, horrible thought here. Right. What I was hoping to conclude is that I'd always have to put the 2, 3 and 4 quadrupler in the middle of the line somewhere to create two special differences on each of them. But what would happen if that, let's say that was a quadrupled 2, and that was a quadrupled 1. Then what would happen, or what could happen, I'm going to allege, is this could be a very special difference, and the 1 could generate a 0 difference as well as a natural nice difference, and those two together would effectively create 2 extra differences, and then the other 2 special digits could create 4 extra differences for a total of 6 extra differences, and then plus the original 3 that you can make without special differences is still 9 differences. So I don't think it is true to say that you have to. I don't think it is true to say that you have to put the 2, 3 and the 4 quadruplers in the middle of the line. Or is it something to do with this row? Hang on, because this row has to have a quadrupler in it. Oh no, this is really complicated. So if okay, but if you did the weird version, you'd have to have 4 quadruplers on the line. You couldn't do it with only 3 quadruplers. So if you did put a quadrupler at a line end, then we've got to put 4 quadruplers on the line. So that would have to be a quadrupler, that would be a quadrupler, and that would be a quadrupler. So the quadruplers would go there, or in the mirror image of that. And then we'd get our A's, B's, C's and D's going round the piece, wouldn't we? Yes, Simon, we would. Hang on, I'm just going to think about this. Hang on. So I'm going to say that's A. It can't repeat in its quadrupler, so let's call that B. That would make that B. Let's call that C. So C would go there, that would be D. That would be A. That would be D. That's interesting. That doesn't work, actually. That is really interesting. Okay. That is really interesting. So I can disprove this, actually. I'm just wondering if I can disprove it very more quickly. We'll just explain it in a second. Let me just mull this for a second or two. Yeah, I mean, it's quite beautiful, really. I mean, if you'll permit me to do it, I will show you. I don't even need that A. All I need to do is to label this B, and that is all. I think. Right, the key thing here, we learnt on one of those puzzles we've just done, that when we get this sort of ability to pinpoint cells in the grid and know that they are different from other cells, we can almost fill the grid. So I want to think about where the digit B goes around this puzzle, because we can place it everywhere. But the crucial thing I want to do is to place it in this box, which is very easy, and this box, which is almost very easy, but once you see it goes there in this box, it's now very easy. It goes there, and that breaks the puzzle. Why does it break the puzzle? It's because this cell has the same difference on both sides of it. That difference and that difference are the same. So this is really interesting, isn't it? Because that logic did not use the inequality sign, so it's valid irrespective. What we're effectively proving is that we can't have four quadruplers on the line. 4 quadruplers on the line causes a same difference effect. So that means we got a maximum of 3 differences on the line, 3 quadruplers on the line. And if we've got 3 quadruplers on the line, how are we going to generate 9 different differences? We cannot do it if one is one of those quadruplers, because one only generates 1 extra difference, which is the difference of 0. So now we know for certain that neither of those is a quadrupler, because we're going to need the 2, 3 and the 4 quadruplers to do massive lifting, and actually each of them has to be responsible for 2 differences we couldn't generate naturally. And now I don't know what now. Well, or do I? Okay, no, I'm going to do something else now. How many... There are 3 quadruplers that we need to put on this cat. And we can't... They have to go into separate rows and columns and boxes. But there are 3 Sudoku units there. Column 1, column 4, and row 4. So there must be a weird differencey thing there. Let's make it purple. There must be one there, and there must be one there. A quadrupler thing. Which means that these are not quadruplers. That can't be a quadrupler, can it? If that was a quadrupler, even if it was if it was a 1 even, it would be too big. That couldn't be greater than it, so that's not a quadrupler. I don't think we're a gazillion miles away from understanding this. But, having said that, how on earth do you make... Do we have to... Oh, I'm sorry, I feel so dim-witted when I look at things like this. Place 1 quadrupler. I mean, that could very easily be a quadrupler, but it doesn't probably need to be. If that was a quadrupler, then this would be a quadrupler. And these would be an X-winged quadrupler at the top. And again, you could... Yeah, see, it's going to be the case that wherever you place the quadruplers, you can, in effect, then sort of propagate everything round the grid. Which which might matter. I don't really know how to think about this. If that's a quadrupler, there's got to be a quadrupler in that row, so that's a quadrupler. Now, is that in any way an intelligent thing to note? I don't know. I don't know. If that's... Okay. Not sure. Not sure. I've seen one thing that's interesting here. Let me show you that. So what I noted, okay, so what I'm saying is if that is a quadruplet, let's call it A and that's B. It's not actually, the thing I've noticed is to do with B, not A, but this is just labeling. I was thinking about, obviously this is now B by Sudoku because the quadruplers don't contain the same digit. Now, where does B go in this box is the question I was thinking about. Now, if B is here, B cannot be quadrupled because B's already been quadrupled. And if B is here and it's a natural digit, let's make that B. It's obviously not quadrupled now because it's already been quadrupled, so it's a green digit. But that we know in this pair, one of these is quadrupled, and it's going to be this one then. But the thing is, B in this box is there now. So again, you get the same difference on both sides of the line. So what I could say is that this can't be B, whether it's quadrupled or not. That would be B. And that would be B. I don't know whether this matters or not, but it is something I've noticed. So in fact, if this was true, or I might be about to get interrupted, which would be disastrous. I don't want to be interrupted now. If this was true, then the quadrupler here would be there, wouldn't it? And the quadrupler here would be there. Oh. So is that possible is an interesting question. We know that the quadruplers in my version of the world are 2, 3 and 4 being quadrupled, so this would be a quadrupled 1, which would axiomatically be bigger than B. I think this is going to be right. What's the rule across the eyes? Do two different values. So I know this would be a 1. I know, let me just think about this, sorry. I know this is, so I know B now can't be 4. So B would be 2 or 3. A would be here. Would it go much further than that, though? It probably would. I mean, this digit would have to be C, wouldn't it? Because it can't be 1, because it's the final quadrupler. So we'd get all sorts of things everywhere. Oh, please. Oh, there you go. There you go. That doesn't work. And there may be an easier way to see it, but what we've just proved is this is a quadrupler on C, and it's next to two normal A's, and the difference. So we've got the same difference on the line between A and C. I mean, that is very complicated, but it is true. Right, so what does that mean? That's going to mean this. Okay, let's be very careful. What that started off with me making this a quadrupler, and that logic I just didn't rely on this, did it? No, it didn't. I did note that quadrupled 1 is bigger than this, but I didn't do any more than that. Yeah, because if the quadrupler had been here, I would have still made it 1 because it's off the line. I need the 2, 3 and 4 quadruplers on the line. So what I'm now going to claim, for what it's worth, is that neither of the kitty cat's ears are quadruplers. They are both not quadruplers. And now, have we actually moved things forward at all? The answer is I don't know. I suppose I have a bit. I've now... Yeah, I have a bit, because I've now got an X-wing on quadruplers. The quadruplers in column 1 and column 4 are in these squares, which means this can't be a quadrupler, because otherwise I'd have 3 quadruplers in 2 rows. So there is a quadrupler up there, which we know is the digit 1. I mean, that's a silly pencil mark, but that's true. Okay, so what we should do, I think, is the same exercise again. So without loss of generality, let's make this our special quadrupler. So that's going to be a quadrupler, which means this is a quadrupler, this is a quadrupler, and this is a quadrupler. That is something that we're going to allege. Now, obviously, it could switch to the purples. We have to bear that in mind. But so far, we haven't. So long as we don't use the inequality, this logic that we're doing is sound. And in fact, this would be a 1. But let's not worry too much about that. Let's make that A. See, I might make this B because I don't want to use. Well, hang on. I mean, we know this is correct, don't we? It's either this or it's the mirror of this is correct. It's either this or the mirror of this. So I don't know what's going to happen here, but let's just try, and we'll fill these with A, B, C, D, and we will attempt to finish the puzzle and see what happens. Okay, yeah, that's still fine. I think it will just propagate, and it does. How does this help us? Right, okay. So B, which I'm claiming is the digit 1. Yeah, I see. Oh, I've got it wrong. This is the wrong way round. But never mind. Okay, it's still going to be instructive. Right. Okay, what I'm claiming is that B had to be the quadrupler that wasn't on the kitty cat. And B is a 1. Now, the way we're going to generate our 9 different differences is with weird massive differences, like between 16 and 2 and things like that, and 8 and 3, and mad massive differences. But we're also going to have those 3 core differences of 1, 2 and 3 generated between things like a 1 and a 2. So these natural differences that are appearing on the line, they must all be different in order for us to get to 9 different differences. Now, the crucial one that's interesting there must be a 4-1 difference on this line, on the kitty cat. And we know that B is the digit 1, so where is the 4-1 difference doing? It's going here. And what's that doing? It's making the digit D, or the letter D, 4. Boom. That's not good. On the wrong side of the inequality. So we've actually got the puzzle the wrong way round. In other words, I shouldn't have started there. I should have started here, and then everything would be mirrored around the middle column. So we might as well finish the puzzle, if you like, and then we can just switch the order round, because that's what would happen if we did it the other way round. So what we can say now is that B is 1, D is 4. Okay. Hang on, what were the different values? These are all natural values. Okay, so it's going to be to do with... Yeah, it's going to be to do with A and C, which are the values 2 and 3. But we need to generate the difference of 2 and the difference of 1 on the line. Yeah, so if A, this is sick, if A was 3 and C was 2, this difference would be 1 and this difference would be 1. And they're not different. So A is 2, C is 3, and that is the solution. That definitely doesn't get a song. It's the solution, but it's the wrong way round. In other words, this top row should read 2, 1, 3, 4. So we'll do it. 2, 1, 3, 4. This row should read 4, 3, 2, 1. I hope I just did that the right way. 3, 4, 2, 1 here. 3, 4, 2, 1. And this should read 1, 2, 4, 3. And I messed up that one, didn't I? Let's just go back. I thought I did as I did it. This should read 4, 3, 1, 2. And I put it in the wrong way round. So just to show you that, I'm just going to correct that. Now, obviously, the corollary of this is that that should have been a thingy, that should have been a thingy, that should have been a thingy, and that should have been a thingy. So if we get rid of the black cells and turn these, that I think is the solution to the puzzle. And these better not get any more difficult than this. That's 2 hours I'm up to so far. I'm not sure. Hopefully I'll be alright to get this uploaded in time. Right, let's see if it's correct. Yes, it is. That's taken me half an hour again. That's a monstrously hard puzzle. Is that... Oh no, don't be another puzzle. Purgatory. Okay, by the Pedaling Pianist. Schrödinger rule supply. Of course they do. Okay, Schrödinger rule supply. Fill every row, column and box with the digits 0 to 4. 0 to 4. No, there are 4 S cells, each containing 2 digits. The value of an S cell is the sum of its digits. The value of the 4 S cells form a non-repeating consecutive set, and I separates consecutive values, and those points to the lower value. The ghostly white line is a between line, i.e. the cells on the line between the two ends have values strictly between the 2 at each end. So those 2 cells are sort of extremes within which these must fluctuate. Let's get cracking. 0 to 4. So surely one of these must be a Schrödinger cell. Is that wrong? If these were 0 and 4. No, I'm not having that. If these were 0 and 4, so i.e. if these were both natural, then these digits would have to have the values of 1, 2 and 3. But the point is, none of these cells could contain a 4, could they? So 4 in those two those two columns would be in the same row of the puzzle. So one of these is a Schrödinger cell. Now, right, no. Yeah, okay. So one of these is a Schrödinger cell that has to have a value of at least 5. But it can only have a value of 5. Imagine this was a Schrödinger cell. It's meant to have a consecutive. This is now not a Schrödinger cell, yet those two are consecutive. So this can't have a value of like 7 or something, because that would need to be a 6, which doesn't exist in the puzzle, unless it's a Schrödinger cell, which can't repeat in the column, so it's not. So whichever one of these is a Schrödinger cell, and one of them has a value of 5, and it's got a 4 beneath it, is what we've just learnt. On the inequality, does that mean it has to be here? No, because if it was there and that was a Schrödinger, that could have the value of it. Oh no, but I don't know then. I think probably it does have to be here, but I'm not actually sure. One of these has a value of 5. Am I not going to run into the same issue here? If this was, say, 5 and 1, such that these were 2, 3 and 4 in terms of valuation, then wouldn't 1... Yeah, by the secret. Oh, that's a sick... That is sick. Right. Yeah, I think this is right. So what I'm saying is, imagine one of these has... one of these does have a value of 5. I'm just going to put 5 in. It's a Schrödinger cell that has a value of 5. Now, the other cell, we have to allow space for these values to exist. Now, if this is not a 0... it would have to be a 1, wouldn't it? So that there could be 3 different values here. Now, if that's true, sorry, that wouldn't be Schrödinger in this example. So what I'm thinking is, I don't know if I can articulate this quite, but these cells here would have values like 2, 3 and 4. But the whole column adds up to 10. But do they don't have to be different, I suppose, do they? But how would you mimic values along here? 4, I suppose you could have 4 and a 1, 3. 4, a 1, 3, a 2. 4, 1, 3, 2, and then that would be a 0. And then that couldn't be a 0. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not sure now. Okay, so whichever one of these is 5 has a 4 beneath it, but it must add up to 5, so it's going to be a 2-3 pair, isn't it? That seems reasonable. So there's going to be a 2-3 pair above a 4 on either here or here. We don't know which side. And then the 4 is going to have to be on its own up there, isn't it? It's not in a Schrödinger cell. So it's just going to live on its own up here. Because it's not in a Schrödinger cell because of this. And obviously this is totally reversible, as we're sort of learning that we have to think about these things with this puzzle. Now, so this is a value of 5. So the value of each of these cells individually is some number less than 5. The 4 is on its own. But they must all be greater than whatever I decide to put into that square. So if I do make this a 2, for example, it's consecutive with the one beneath it, isn't it? But how can... Yeah, I don't think we can put this on this side. I think that is legitimate, because if we do put it this way round and claim this is a Schrödinger and this is a Schrödinger to allow this inequality to work, then this digit's massive, because this must be 5 now, and this must be 4, and the difference between these is there's no integer value that we can create. It's a 5 and a 4, which we can't populate the line with 4.5. So, in fact, we can go a bit further than we have gone. We can say that is definitely a Schrödinger cell. It is definitely a 2-3 pair. This is definitely a 4. So that pencil mark survives the world. 2s and 3s are down here. This... Ooh, hang on. So that's a 0 or a 1. Oh, maybe this is how. Maybe this is how I prove this is a 0. Because that is... Hang on. What am I think I've gone mad. I'm really sorry. I'm getting tired now. I think that is 0, 1. It can't possibly be 0, can it? Because then it... What was that? It's not a negative. There's no negative numbers in this. Please tell me that. So I think this is a 1. But where's the Schrödinger then? Oh no, yeah, that can't be a Schrödinger. So that's a 1. These are from 2, 3 and 0. One of them is a Schrödinger. And that now is a 0, otherwise that 1 can't exist on the line. That's now a 1, but could be a Schrödinger. No, it can't. If that's a Schrödinger cell, it would be a 0, 1 to add up to 1 to be consecutive with 0. So that's a natural 1. And now what we should probably do is label all the cells that are natural, which is those and that. Wow, okay. So now we know the line is populated with relatively, one of these is Schrödingered, and it's got to have the 0 in it. Yeah, we couldn't have a 0 on one side and the 2, 3 on the other side, because that would be worth the same as this, and the between line wouldn't work. Are all the Schrödingers different? Oh no, they're not, but there was something about them. The value of the 4 S cells form a non-repeating consecutive set. That's quite interesting, isn't it? Ah, whoa. That's huge. That's important. Right. This column needs a Schrödinger cell. I don't know where it goes, but I know that it's populated from the digits 2, 3 and 4. But it can't be populated with 2 and 3 because that would be the same as this Schrödinger cell. So it's at least a 2-4 pair. So 6, the sequence we're generating of Schrödinger cells has 6 on it at a minimum. It might have 7, but it's got at least 6. So it's got 6 and 5. So this can't be 0, 2. Because there's only 4 Schrödinger cells. 0, 2 is 2, 3, 4, 5. But we know there's at least a 6 Schrödinger in this column. So this is... There's a 0, 3. Well, that's it. Yeah, there's a 0, 3 here. There's a 0, 4 somewhere else. Or not a 0, 4, but there's a 4 value. And this is... Ah, yeah, got it. So this, because there's a Schrödinger in one of these, it must be here. Because it can't be on the line, because we know it's worth 6. So this is a 2, 4 worth 6. And this is a 3. And that's not a 3, and that's not a 3. So 4 is here. I don't know what that means. But this can't be the Schrödinger now, because we need the 0, 3 in the Schrödinger. So I think... Oh, maybe... Oh, I don't know now. Now I think I've gone wrong. Doesn't feel like it's working anymore. I'm getting muddled up between Schrödingers. See, I think that's a Schrödinger. And that's 0, 3. So that would be a 2. But where's the Schrödinger in this box? Oh, I haven't put 0 into the box. And I can do if I put it there. Aha! That's it. Ah, that's beautiful. That's going to be right. So now I've got... Right, let's check. 3, 4, 5, 6. And I've just got to populate the line now with Sudoku digits. That's all I've got to do. So that's a 3 by Sudoku. This is a 1. That's 3 in the corner. 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. Oh, forgive me. So that is a 0, sitting on its own. I think that's right. Please be right. Let's see if we've got any more. Oh, prowling between lines of order and oblivion, you escape the deadly pattern of purgatory. Schrödinger opens his box to reveal you the cat that conquered curiosity. Solution code for LMD. Oh, done it. 39 people have done that. That was hard. That got very hard. 2 hours. I've taken it's 10 puzzles though, I suppose. There's not... Well, there were 2 that were monstrous and some that were challenging. And a few that were kind. What a hunt, though. I'm sorry to take so much of your Friday evening. I hope you can forgive me. And I hope you can give the Pedaling Pianist an enormous amount of credit. I must go because I must try and get this uploaded. And I think I'm going to be late tonight, but I'll try my best. Anyway, fantastic, the Pedaling Pianist. Let me know in the comments how you got on. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.